Are you bored of AAA titles, MOBAs, microtransactions in games, out of cringe storylines, Hollywood-like crap, like I am? Because I've been seeing that for the last 35 years. And I decided to make one video to show off some games that I believe are worth playing and that are worth every penny and every second of your time. We're gonna cover a lot of genres here: Metroidvanias, CRPGs, adventures, weird, innovative indie titles. And the first one that you see over here would be Dark Devotion. I had an amazing time with Dark Devotion. What can I say? You have full review for nearly all games that I'm gonna present here, but I'll be short on every game that I'll show. So, Dark Devotion is for those that like solid challenge, dark games, dark and gloomy games. It's a Metroidvania roguelike with Souls-like combat. I highly recommend it, I loved it. The next in line is Aeterna Noctis from Aeterna Studios. They released Summum Aeterna also in 2022, and this one, Aeterna Noctis, is in my eyes the hardest Metroidvania ever created, the most underrated Metroidvania ever created, the longest Metroidvania ever created, and probably the best Metroidvania that I played in my life, and I played them all. Remember, play it. There are 2 mods right now. It's not like on its release date when you only had, I think it was 1 difficulty, insane difficulty. Now there's also an easier difficulty, and this is one of a kind game, okay? Diverse boss fights, huge map, amazing platforming mechanics, great boss fights. There are not enough words to praise this game, Aeterna Noctis. This is the title that everyone should play and finish. It's freaking amazing. I don't know what's better in it. Music, holy shit, it's epic in this game. Give it a shot. The next in line is Summum Aeterna. As Aeterna Noctis was a Metroidvania, this is a full roguelike from the same devs. Amazing roguelike. Right now, in 2022 November, it's in early access. It's got 8 different maps, or 10, something like that, with 4 main bosses and a lot of mini bosses. Extremely smooth roguelike for early access. I expect a lot out of this game. It's gonna be freaking amazing once it's fully out. As I said, Aeterna Noctis is one of my favorite games of all time. And Summum Aeterna is slowly going towards it. Will it be the best roguelike ever created? No. Okay. But it's gonna be in top 10 of all time. For sure. Even now in early access, it's freaking amazing. I got 40 hours in early access for Summum Aeterna. It's challenging, it's smooth, it's addictive, it's got phenomenal music, phenomenal art. It's really worth playing and buying right now. For the next game, we got Darkest Dungeon 2. What I said for Summum Aeterna, top 10 roguelikes of all time. This is also a roguelike, turn-based roguelike, you know. It's still in early access, and I got 200 and plus hours in early access for Darkest Dungeon 2. The full game is out in 3 months from now. Now it's November 2022. This is insane how great Darkest Dungeon 2 is and how great and epic it will be. I dare say it's gonna be the best roguelike ever created. The next one I'll recommend is Sunday Gold. Full adventure, old school adventure, point and click, but with turn-based combat. Fully voice acted, amazing art. It came out like a month ago or so. Extremely underrated game. If you would like to play something like Disco Elysium and Monkey Island, okay, with turn-based combat, then you might want to consider giving a shot with Sunday Gold. It's probably worth it. If you're thirsty for a solid shooter, Doom-like, then I recommend this one. Metal Hellsinger. Fast-paced, wet dream for speedrunners. Also, great music in the game too. I highly recommend this. Nothing better came out in the last year or so. This is a new release. Go for it. If you wanna have fun, that's gonna put a smile on your face while you play a Metroidvania, metal slug-like Metroidvania, then you're gonna go for the Blessed Brigade. I highly recommend it for those that want to relax. This is extremely funny and relaxing game with a slice of challenge on top of it all. Do you like XCOM franchise? Do you like XCOM combat? Then Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate is the game you wanna play it. I actually like Chaos Gate way much more than XCOM, even though this is a ripoff. It's very simple to explain, okay? 40k world is just far better. On top of it all, this is a very long game. On the hardest difficulty, also quite challenging, with a lot of things to do, a lot of things to upgrade, a lot of classes to play with. It's just mega fun. Warhammer fans will probably have amazing time with this game. This might be the best Warhammer 40k game that exists. Until Rogue Trader is out, of course. King Arthur's Knight's Tale. Amazing. I can't call it CRPG. It's a mix of Divinity Original Sin and Darkest Dungeon. That's what it is. Okay. Turn-based combat, isometric perspective. Huge game, long game, quite challenging on the hardest difficulty. Solid story, good looking graphics. Extremely fun and addictive to play with very good AI. One of the best games in 2022. This is a must play. Vampire Survivors. Silly game, addictive game. If there is like a level for addiction, this is level 99. Alright, this game. You just can't stop playing it. No matter how silly it looks, it's extremely cheap. This is like a $2 game. I'm ashamed to admit, but I got 50 hours in it with over 100 achievements unlocked. Crazy how much time I spent in this game. This game saved me during summer when I couldn't play and stream anything because of the extreme heat, and I was only playing this from time to time. And I highly recommend to everyone, but be careful. I'm telling you right now, this, no matter how stupid it looks, it's extremely good game, extremely addictive game, one more run game, you know. Just be careful about it, but I do recommend. Expeditions Rome. Man, what a game. That's all I'll say. If you are into CRPGs, strategies, turn-based combat, into history games, this is a long one, challenging one. Probably, if not for Elden Ring in 2022 and the upcoming Ragnarok, this could be the best game of 2022. There's nothing else left to say, like Expeditions Rome is a must-play. I'm 35 years old. I grew up on Heroes of Might and Magic and King's Bounty. Everyone that loves Heroes of Might and Magic, especially 2 and 3, this is Heroes of Might and Magic for you. Songs of Conquest is the name of the game. Heroes of Might and Magic copycat, and it copies everything well. It's a phenomenal game. Those that enjoy Heroes will love Songs of Conquest. I'm sure of it. Ghostrunner. If you're in for speedrunning and for the games that are extremely fast-paced, this is the game for you. It looks amazing also. It's optimized to perfection. It's just one of a kind, okay? But this is only for those that seek perfection in games, okay? High scores, chasing leather, and so on. Speaking about chasing the ladder and speedruns, there is no better game for speedrun than God's Trigger. It's from the same company from the previous game, okay? And I spent more than 100 hours playing this game. Amazing for speedruns, similar to Hotline Miami, but better, way much better. Outer Wilds, one of the most unique games in the existence. Nothing else I can say about it. You got full review on my channel. This is one of a kind experience. Everyone should play, everyone should give it a chance. It is just amazing game, absolutely amazing. Now, same what I said for Outer Wilds, I can also say for the Forgotten City. This game is exactly the same as Outer Wilds, only different environment and different setting, but they're exactly the same games. I don't want to spoil anything here. Play it. It's worth every second. Metroidvania, Axiom Verge. It's worth playing only to hear the main theme, main song. That's how great the song is. Now, jokes aside, this is amazing Metroidvania. It's old school, okay? But if you love Metroidvanias and you skipped Axiom Verge, you missed a freaking planet. Cyber Shadow. Full side-scrolling action platformer, retro style, but a brand new game basically. Extremely hard, extremely irritating. Those that seek challenge will go for it. Ender Lillies, casual Metroidvania, relaxing, dark Metroidvania. You should play, it's fun, but it's very short also. Desperados 3, one of my favorite games of all time, extremely underrated game, epic game if you're into speedrunning and perfecting maps, okay, great game if you just want to breeze through the campaign. It's so bloody smooth. This game is like pure perfection, Commandos-like game, okay? Real-time stealth strategy. One of my favorite games, one of my favorite genres. I used to grow up on Commandos during 90s, and this one is Commandos in Wild West. Absolutely amazing game. Now, what I said about Desperados of the West, now we go east from the same company, from the same devs, we got Shadow Tactics. Everything that I said for Desperados applies for this game, only this one is a bit worse than Desperados 3, but still it's a great game too. Do you miss Witcher? Do you miss Geralt voice actor? Then Tales of Iron is the game that you want to play. Metroidvania, fully narrated by Geralt himself. Extremely good Metroidvania, extremely underrated Metroidvania. Souls-like Metroidvania where you play as a rat with Geralt's voice. But still, it's amazing. Vigil, The Longest Night. Speaking about Metroidvanias, here's one. Once you really don't know what to play in your life, you might wanna give it a shot. It ain't the best Metroidvania, it ain't the worst. It's way above mediocre, alright, towards being good. Go ahead, give it a shot. It's a solid game. Now, if you're like me and you like dark Metroidvanias, there's nothing darker than Grime. Grime might not be among the best Metroidvanias, okay, but I love the setting. I love boss fights in this game, exploration and so on, and you might want to give it a shot. It's really worth playing. Diablo 1. Diablo 1 is my favorite game of all time. I got over 30 playthroughs. I finished the game over 30 times during 90s. Now, if you install Beelzebub's mod, you can play Diablo 1 on new configs, okay, and it works great. Everyone should give it a shot. All the games that you play like now, from isometric perspective, came out from Diablo 1. Believe it or not. Diablo 1 is directly responsible for at least 1,000 great games. Here's one strange game that I really enjoyed a lot. Jupiter Hell. How can I explain this game, man? It's... You need to give it a shot and play. It's a roguelite, but extremely innovative one. It's addictive, it's fun, dark, hard. Give it a shot. I don't want to spoil a thing. I loved it. Chasm. Pixel art, Metroidvania, extremely underrated one. I highly recommend it. Apotheon, another, I can call it Metroidvania, I guess, platforming action side-scroller, okay, extremely innovative in terms of graphics, of how you play, okay, some will detest controls. I got used to them and then I started to enjoy the game. It is fun, it's, well, basically no one knows about it, but give it a shot if you want to. SOLASTA, the Crown of the Magister. If you are into games like Divinity, Original Sin, like Pillars, like Baldur's Gate, you know, isometric CRPGs, this one is turn-based, extremely challenging on the hardest difficulty with tons of DLCs released. This footage you look is from the vanilla version when the game worked like crap, but now it's really good. I highly recommend SOLASTA. It's really, really great indie CRPG. Go for it, it's extremely long too. Trust me, this one is worth it. Disco Elysium. Disco happens once in a lifetime. Now, if we're gonna live for 100 years, there is only one disco. That's how great this game is. Point and click isometric adventure, fully voice acted. I don't know if a similar game exists. You want innovation, you want to test something brand new, a masterpiece, art, then you got Disco Elysium. Speaking about innovation, Narita Boy is the name of this game. There are no words to explain what is Narita Boy. It's a very fun side-scrolling platformer, action platformer. I don't know how to explain it. You need to play and experience this. Alright. Like, really, really good game. I highly recommend Narita Boy. Now, if you're in for games like Hades, isometric roguelikes, Curse of the Dead Gods is the game you're searching for. Challenging, great art, fast-paced, fun. It's fun, and that's the most important thing. Like, really, really underrated and extremely good game. You wanna laugh, rage, and have fun at the same time. Rayman Legends and Rayman Origins are just brilliant games, okay, one of a kind. I don't know if there is a similar game to Rayman, including all Raymans from 90s, okay, but this one is perfection. Morbid, the 7 Acolyte, isometric, Souls-like, pixel art. If you're into those type of games and you missed Morbid, you didn't miss a lot, but I would still recommend playing it. It is worth playing, okay, on some huge sale. Children of Morta. There are no words to explain what Children of Morta is. The most simple that I can explain this is a family values roguelike with fast-paced combat, isometric pixel art. Worth playing, worth buying. If you missed it, you missed a lot. Now, speaking about you missed a lot, Gears Tactics, the best Gears of War, or better to say Gears game in the existence. XCOM-like, but better than XCOM. Extremely fun to play, extremely hard on the hardest difficulty, extremely smooth, amazing game. I had a lot of fun. Go for it. Operancia, the Stolen Sun. This is a full dungeon crawler, but with turn-based combat instead of a real-time combat like a retro dungeon crawlers. Full with puzzles, a rich inventory system, skill upgrades, very satisfying combat in turn-based mod, extremely challenging game. A long one also, cheap. Go for it, it's worth it, every second of it is worth it. Monster Train, if you are into card turn-based games without microtransactions, this is the one you're searching for, extremely addictive one also, similar to Slay the Spire, but it has faster pace than Slay the Spire, for sure, twice faster pace than Slay the Spire. It's worth it, it's fun, and it's cheap. Desperados, Wanted, Dead or Alive. 20 and more years old game. That's completely worth it. Playing now, you can find it for $1. Okay. Amazing game, amazing atmosphere, phenomenal music, fully voice acted. For that time, all of those things that I said are impressive. Okay. Full Commandos-like. First Desperados ever created, Wanted, Dead or Alive. Lord of the Fallen. It might not be the best Souls-like copycat, but it is the best looking one. It's dark, I love dark games, and I really enjoyed Lords of the Fallen. And now the sequel is coming up. I think that you should definitely play this one before its sequel is out. It is worth it, it's a challenging game. It's a fun game with very smooth controls, and now it should work well on every system since it's patched and optimized, since it's garbage release. Now it's a good game. Go for it. Celeste, pixel art, jumping platformer. Extremely irritating one for those that seek perfection, for those that love games like this. It's probably one of the best games ever created. Okay, but have in mind that it's extremely irritating game. The most similar to this game would be Super Meat Boy, okay? But I dare say this one is even harder than Super Meat Boy. Speaking about hard games, Valfaris, full 2D, old school, retro action platformer. A short one, but sweet and challenging. Before Valfaris, the same devs released Slain. Everything that I said about Valfaris applies on Slain, also exactly the same game, only this one is melee and Valfaris is with guns. That's the only difference, but completely worth playing. Very challenging games, both of them. Blazing Chrome. I used to grow up on Contra, and this is the Contra, but for 21st century. Blazing Chrome. There's nothing to say about it. Hard game, fast-paced, 2D side shooting scroller. Extremely good. Bastion. What is there to say about Bastion? If you haven't played Bastion, make sure you do. I highly recommend Bastion. A medieval. If you played Heretic and Hexen during 90s, well, there's your Hexen and Heretic of 21st century. Worth playing, worth buying. Extremely fast-paced. Katana Zero. And this is the game I would recommend for everyone, okay? And it's a very weird one. I can't simply explain what is Katana Zero. Just go ahead and play it, please. It's worth it. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. If you haven't played Bloodlines, you missed one of the best games ever created. What are you waiting for? Go ahead and play it. It's unique, it's one of a kind. Speaking about unique games, Mark of the Ninja. This is just extremely good stealth platformer. Okay, 2D stealth platformer. It's a bit old now, but it's still amazing game. Speaking about amazing games, we got Prey. BioShock in space. A very good BioShock in space. You wanna play a game with amazing jokes, hilarious on every freaking second there is, a game that starts as a platformer then turns into a Metroidvania, one of the most unique games ever created, with amazing soundtrack, and I got around 100 more praises for The Messenger. This is a must play, no excuse. Go ahead, skip all games that I recommended so far and install Messenger. Guacamelee 1 and 2. It doesn't matter which one you want to play first. You want to laugh, you want to play as a luchador, you want brawls on every minute. Extremely fun game. Play Guacamelee. Both parts. Torment, Tides of Numenera. If you ever played Planescape Torment, if you like Disco Elysium, you're gonna love Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is not a game, this is a book. Art, call it how you like. It does look like isometric CRPG, but trust me, it's a book. Go ahead and read it.